Good evening and thank you for joining us for the Tuesday Online Exclusive. I'm Baylor Rodman.
And I'm Maeve Ashbrook. Happy Election Day, everyone. We will be bringing you the news you need to know before our election coverage begins tonight. Alamance County voters will be choosing tonight who represents North Carolina's 6th District in the U.S. House of Representatives. Our Selena Guevara sat down with both candidates to talk about their campaigns.
49-year-old Republican Mark Walker is up against 28-year-old Democrat Ryan Watts. Walker, who's a Baptist minister and the incumbent, has been the representative for the 6th District since 2015. He says one of his greatest achievements so far
was reducing and removing the tariffs for manufacturers throughout the state of North Carolina.
The Miscellaneous Tariff Act, one example of his platform to grow the economy. Watts has a business background and has been working as a financial consultant while campaigning. His main goal is to fix gerrymandering in the state.
We need to address fair districting for this republic and this democracy to thrive.
Although districts are drawn by the state legislature, Watts says he'd use his federal powers to intervene.
What we can require is that every state form a nonpartisan independent redistricting committee, which would have to abide by what the Supreme Court has now deemed to be illegal, which are racially or partisan drawn districts. So we can solve that in the federal government.
Both candidates recognize the cost of college can be expensive. Walker supports some debt forgiveness after working a certain number of years in specific professions and the creation of more Pell Grants.
I think the number one thing is to make sure that we're looking at overall costs, not just on the side as far as borrowing, but what we do as far as lowering the costs some of the universities.
Watts says he supports student debt forgiveness and wants to force banks to lower the interest rate on student loans.
The difference between scholarships and student loan debt forgiveness is that student loan debt forgiveness would require graduation, right? So there's an incentive for students to follow through.
Selena Guevara, Elon Local News.
That's just one of the races we'll be following tonight. Our Alex Hager will be live in studio for our coverage. But for now, Baylor is here to give us some updates before the show tonight.
Yes, that's right, Maeve. Our reporters will be posted up around the county, bringing us updates from the candidates' election night parties. We'll also have correspondents live at the Alamance County Board of Elections, as well as inside the Mosley Center. Right here in studio, we'll be joined by representatives from campus political groups and getting their reactions as we get the results. Over in the newsroom, our research team will be keeping an eye on elections all over the country as we track the hottest Senate and governor's races from coast to coast. We've got updates, reactions, analysis, and insight throughout the night, and we're excited to have you join us. Now, one of the big things we'll be looking at is the party balance in the House of Representatives. So before we see how those races turn out, we talked to Director of Elon Polls, Jason Husser, for his insight on what it all means.
What most analysts are really paying attention to is what is going to be the vote count in the U.S. House of Representatives. Right now, it looks like Democrats have a good chance of taking back the House of Representatives and becoming the majority party in the House, thus being able to stop Republican efforts to pass legislation.
Be sure to tune in tonight at 8 p.m. for Elon News Network's coverage throughout the night.
Class registration for the spring semester is quickly approaching. Our Amanda Gibson has put together a step-by-step guide to make the process a little less scary.
Everything that you need to know for registration and to get through the process is all on Elon's On Track. Find out when your registration time is by scrolling to the bottom of the main On Track page and looking at Registration Approval Check. At your assigned time, you can actually register for classes. Before that time, you should add the classes you want to your cart. To do that, you go to the Registration for Sections tab, choose Register for Sections, and then search and register. Here you can search by semester, type of class, or directly type the class if you know the abbreviation. Once you have the options, click each class you want to add to your cart and then click Submit. On the day of registration, go to Register and Drop Sections. This is where all the classes you added to your cart will be. Click through the drop-down menu of each class and choose Register. Click Submit, and that's it.
In order to register, you must have met with your advisor and be approved. Once you've finished registration, be sure you get a confirmation email to ensure everything went through. While preparing for registration, there are a few tips to keep in mind. Have backup plans. Classes fill up quickly, and going in without other options can leave you scrambling at the last minute. Put all your classes in your cart ahead of time. Be at your computer 20 minutes ahead of registration time. Make sure all of the classes you need are still available. Knock out your core classes as soon as possible. Amanda asked around campus to find other students' best tips for registration.
I really want to find teachers that I'm interested in taking classes for, making sure I have good teachers.
Always put them in your cart before your registration period. Don't search for them during your registration time. It's stressful.
I think for me it's making sure that all my classes match up time-wise so I don't like double schedule myself.
Make sure you plan ahead of time and have backup classes ready because they can fill up super fast.
I'm so glad that those students shared their best tips and tricks with us. That's really helpful for me.
Yes, for sure. I have multiple plans because I'm preparing for the worst. You never know exactly,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes, of course. Have you been approved yet?
I have not, so I'm waiting, but as I got a lot, so, but it should be good, it should be good.
Yes. Well, that's all the news we have for you tonight. Thank you for joining us.
For all the news you need to know when we're off the air, check out our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And follow us on social media at Elon News Network.
And make sure you